was just amazing to watch up close. I'm sure you all agreed. And what an incredible sport it would be if the best just fought the best all the time. We're very lucky that Jesse and Sonny Edwards wanted to chase greatness tonight and try and unify the division. And Sonny Edwards showed incredible heart, but this man, that was a pound-for-pound performance from a 23-year-old. 23 years old, two-division world champion, unified world champion, and you all do your pound-for-pound list to make sure on Monday this man's right up there in the top 10. So over to you guys for questions for Jesse and Robert. Yeah.
So this is for Jesse or Robert. One strength that Sonny has was fighting off his back foot, but Jesse, you really you tried to walk him down. Was that something that you saw in previous films that maybe you could capitalize on the mistakes that he would make, or was it something that where you would initiate? Because your jab really worked well tonight, but something that where you saw in previous films that you would feel benefit you in approaching that fight that way.
I'll get that, Francisco. You know what? We don't do much film studying when I prepare for my fights, because I know it's totally different. Different opponents. I watched 2 or 3 rounds of a couple of fights, and that's it. We seen that round by round. And during the fight, we started noticing that it was going to be round by round, like I told one of the zone commentators that came up to the corner, and I said, look, it's going to be a matter of round by round. Time, the time's going to come. We're going to break them down little by little, and that's exactly what he did. But it was during the fight. Nothing that that's the plan we had. We were fighting smart, keeping the jab going, counter punching whenever we get a chance. But Sonny was doing a great job too, man. He got some good punches, some good counters also. So the first few rounds, were not easy.
Congratulations, Robert. You had a 3-0 a night. 3 of your guys got stoppages. My question is for Bam. Were you satisfied, getting a stoppage after Sonny was talking all this mess?
Yeah, I'm just satisfied that I got the win, period. That was the main goal. But during camp, I knew I had what it took to either knock him out or stop him, and that's what I did. So it just made the win that much better.
First off, congratulations. I wanted to ask, he connected you a few times, but was his power ever a threat to you?
Nah, it wasn't. But coming into the fight, I didn't really expect, power, but more speed. But I feel like I was just at the top of my game, and when that happens, no one can mess with me.
You did hurt him a couple of times, and I did feel like you were respecting him a little bit, or were you just trying to not get ahead of yourself?
Yeah, I wasn't trying to get ahead of myself. My corner, they actually got mad at me for getting a little too confident, a little too cocky. But I was in my zone, and I was just doing what I do, and that's what happened tonight. I came out the better man.
Robert, real quick, there were some rounds where Bam, he was catching him and then he was backing up and was, dropping his hands a little bit. Didn't get caught here and there. What'd you tell him throughout the rounds? When he was just, getting the momentum throughout the end of the fight.
Like he said it right now. There was a few times where we were not mad because he was not losing, but he was getting a little too comfortable, too sometimes a little careless. Where Sonny would land some punches, even though they were not doing any damage, and that's why he was so comfortable and so careless. But we had to tell him, I want my fighters to listen and do what they're told to, and I don't want them to go out there and do stuff that they're thinking on their own. Because sometimes they make mistakes, and we had to tell him, and he listened and took care of business.
Robert, like Eddie said, Bam's still only 23 years old.
Correct.
What has been his greatest improvement over the past year and a half?
Well, look, we definitely want to continue winning titles, moving up in weight classes little by little, but it's still not time yet. I think we might go to 15 and stay there for a while, but the kid has a great future, but there's no rush either. At 23, I don't think any other champion is doing it, or very few have done it. So we have to take our time also. Eddie and the team is doing a great job. I think this is our home, and we're gonna continue just creating, making him a bigger legend, little by little. We got no rush. The kid's only 23.
Jesse, your girlfriend's gonna have a daughter soon, isn't she? Can you just talk about what this fight means after all the sacrifice and the wider picture of your family?
I knew winning this fight would not only change my life, but change my daughter's life, set her up, for bigger opportunities and just be able to buy her better things. So I had a lot of motivation going into this fight, knowing I have a daughter on the way, and I'm just so happy right now. I can't wait for her to finally be here and finally meet her and tell her about this night.
When's she due?
She's due in April.
Robert, I remember you told me back around the time when Jesse was turning pro, you just were very adamant that he was gonna just be the one fighter that would shine in your gym. Has he met or even exceeded your expectations as a fighter 5 years ago?
Oh, definitely. When he came to my gym at 15, I knew he was going to be special. I knew he was already special. It was just getting the right team. We didn't. It wasn't easy, because of the weight division. At first, we were lined up at 108, and I was getting opportunities. I was spots at different promotions, different places. We had to buy fights in Mexico, Tijuana, all that, because 108 is not easy. But we were fortunate enough that Eddie took a look at him, and look, that was just the beginning. He became champion at a fight where he moved up 2 divisions, and that was just the beginning of everything. I think us together with the team that we have and with Eddie Hearn and Maxrum, I think there's no stopping us anymore.
For both of you, Bam, you're just 23. You've got incredible wins already over Quadras, over Rung Visai, now this one. Where do you rank this performance? I guess, Robert, you too. Where do you guys rank this among those other, epic performances?
Which is the fact that it was a unification fight against a champion that's been champion for a few years and had a few title defenses. Was great. I don't want to say the greatest win because win the unifying the title. Yes, it is like I said, the greatest win. But beating guys like Rung Visai or Quadras, the 2 of the kings, might be better wins just because of the names. But the accomplishment, I think it was great moving back down to 112 and winning this unification fight was also very, very, very big for us.
Robert, was that a better performance than
Was
those
that?
other 2 fights you mentioned?
Was that one?
Was tonight a better performance than those other 2 fights you
A
mentioned?
better performance, you said? Look, I think Quadras' fight was unbelievable. Then he goes and dominates Rung Visai the way he did. A lot of people were telling me, don't take that fight. That's a very dangerous fight. And look at his performance. This one was also one of those. I think those all 3 have been great. They're just great performances.
Jesse, were you expecting it to be more competitive?
Yeah, I feel like after the first round, I was just in my zone. I was comfortable already. I already had him where I wanted him, and I was just able to, do whatever I wanted to do at that point.
What did Sonny tell you after the fight in the ring?
He just said, good fight, a lot of respect, and, the usual, nothing really crazy.
But all the trash talk in the build-up, I've covered your whole career. I've never seen you respond this way. You stuck your tongue out. Did he get underneath your skin at all with all the trash talking in the build-up?
Nah, I mean, on Thursday, there was a little back and forth, but the tension was high. I was making weight, so, I was just a little tired of him, trying to talk shit about me here and there on social media, and it was just, I finally, showed people a side of me that they'd never seen, but it was all still cool, calm, collected, Bam Rodriguez, so, tonight showed, who I am.
In the build-up, he did mention.
Rob?
Bam, coming into this fight, a lot of people were talking about Sonny Edwards as being a boxer, and you kind of dumbed down into being a puncher. But it seemed to me in the first 3 or 4 rounds of the fight, you controlled the distance, you got behind your jab. Was that something that was important to you for this fight, to show that you weren't just a come forward, aggressive fighter, you could box as well?
Yeah, definitely. That's what we were working on inside the gym. I've been saying it the whole week that we had the perfect game plan. I had a 7-inch reach advantage, so we definitely put that to use, and we applied pressure, but in a smart way, and kept him on the outside, and it all worked out.
Yeah.
Either one of you guys can answer this question. First of all, congratulations, Jesse, on an impressive performance. Obviously, Juan Francisco Estrada is the other champion in the division, but do you think a potential fight with Chocolatito Gonzalez would be better before getting into that fight to get more experience?
Yeah, people always ask that, but there's a lot of respect between me and Chocolatito. You know, Mr. Honda, I don't think he would be very happy with that. So every time someone asks me that, I just say, I don't think it's a possibility. But it is a great fight, but the respect is there between each other. And Estrada's a great champion too, and I believe that's even a bigger fight.
Eddie, Guy Estrada, I spoke to Guy Estrada post-fight. He wasn't too impressed by Jesse's performance. Even though he wasn't too impressed by Jesse's performance.
Well, it must be the only person on the planet.
How do we make that fight happen between, obviously, two of the best of this weight class between
Well, if
112
he wasn't very
115?
impressed, it should be easy to make. But we've done a lot of fights with Estrada. I feel like he needs a new dance partner. You know, I mean, the trilogy with Chocolatito was incredible, but beyond that, where are the big fights for him? Maybe a fight in Japan, but it's the natural fight, you know, and you've got one guy who is a legend, you know, potential Hall of Famer, potential pound for pound guy when he was more active, against the new guy on the block. So, you know, we'll definitely be, if that's the fight Robert wants, which he has indicated it is, we'll definitely be making him an offer for the fight.
Robert, is that the fight that, fight fans should see in the first quarter of next year?
Look, that's what we're here for. You know, Bam doesn't get excited or motivated if there's no big name, nothing that makes sense. You know, we've already gone through that in a couple of fights where he just doesn't get motivated, and when we get him in against the best, that's when he performs very well. So I think that's the fight that we need for Bam, and that's the fight that he actually wants. So obviously it's not my call. Gallo also has a promoter. Eddie Hearn's going to do his job, like he said. He's going to send an offer, and hopefully we're able to do something. Hopefully next year.
Jesse, what did you tell Gallo if he's watching this?
I mean, he always had things to say about me, about my performances, saying that I'm a hype job, I'm not as good as people say. So why not get inside the ring with me and prove it to the people?
Thank you.
Robert, you mentioned earlier about Sarisica and Quadras. They're guys who like to come and throw punches. Sonny's a back foot boxer, more of a technician. Bam dominated all three of those fights. What does that say about his versatility as a fighter? They can do it against guys who can punch, guys who can move their feet. What does that say about Bam?
You know what? I think maybe the media, you guys, or Sonny's team went from Bam's last couple of performances where he fought tall guys, that were running a lot, and he had to chase them around. But I think before that against Quadras and Rungvisai, I think Bam shows that he's got really good boxing skills, good footwork, good combinations, and not necessarily just being a brawler like a lot of people think, or at least Sonny's team thought we were gonna just go in there and brawl. Bam's very smart. Bam knows how to use his distance. He knows how to use his footwork, and he knows how to counterpunch. He knows how to box pretty good. He's not a runner, but he's a good boxer.
How much better can he still get? He's only 23. He's a two-weight world champion, one of the best pound-for-pound fighters in the world. How much better can he still
Well, look, I think there's who knows as the years go by. I've always said it, and I think he's going to be a multiple division champion, and we'll just see fight by fight, year by year, because at 23, man, I just he's still not in his prime. 2-3 years from now, we don't know. He might be a featherweight champion. Who knows? But we're definitely, that's the plan. For one day be 4 or 5, maybe 6 division champion.
Couple more guys.
Robert, can you talk about Arturo's Cardenas' performance tonight?
Well, look, I'm sure a lot of people seen it, and I think that the kid is one of those kids that came from Mexico. Bartolome from Michoacan, and he's dedicated. The kid has potential, man. He's we've also been having fights here and there in Mexico, Tijuana. Just to build up a record. I think this was his time to show what he got, and I think he proved it. I hope that we're able to do something with him, because I think he's got a bright future also. Same thing with the other kid, Chop Chop. I think Chop Chop looks sensational also. I know there was a lot of attention for both of them. And that's just what my team is. I'm not gonna bring somebody to Matchroom and show them, tell them that I have good prospects when they're not ready. I said when we were watching the fights, there's a few guys that came from England. I don't think they were ready to come to the United States. There's you have to know who to bring and who I have 10 other guys in my gym that might not be ready, and I'm not bringing them to a big promoter yet, but the time will come, and I think the time for Arturo and Albert is now, and hopefully they get attention, you know, they're able to get that attention, and hopefully we can work on something for them too.
Last one, guys.
Eddie, just quickly, how's Sonny? Have you spoken to him? Is he got his hospital?
Yeah, he's got, I'm not sure, I think he might have an X-ray on his cheek. He got stitched. He's good. He's happy. You know, he said, in an interview, he said that I never dreamed that I would be in fights like this, in front of crowds like that, you know, in America. And, you know, I think a lot of these smaller weight classes, particularly flyweight, they just, you don't really get a lot of, you know, outside of Estrada and Chocolatito, these guys just haven't been getting big crowds, big nights, big attention. And that's why the divisions are so good, because they have to be in those fights to get that attention. So like if Jesse was a welterweight or a middleweight, maybe we go and have a couple of easy defences. But he's not really, because he wants to make big money, he wants to be in great nights, and that's why you go and fight Bam, Estrada, I don't know, Martinez, Chocolate, whatever, you know. So they're like successive fights for him. So I think the key now is to look at where we come back. I mean, look, don't forget, that was a guy from San Antonio against a guy from England in Phoenix, you know? So we've had some great nights in San Antonio, and you know, we probably need a bigger venue there now. That could be a great place to do the Gallo fight, you know, in San Antonio, Texas, or maybe even back here. Phoenix is, you know, we had the Chocolatito fight here in Phoenix, and we had a huge crowd. They all know Estrada. Now Bam's a big star in Arizona as well. So, you know, it's exciting times, but it's so good to have a young kid that is so good.
Has he gone to hospital?
I'm not sure officially. We'll get the guys to check, but I think he was potentially going for an X-ray, but he's in good spirits. Guys, thank you so much for your support this week. Go on, very last one.
Bam, I think everybody in this room, you know, kind of expects this kind of a result, but we always see so much emotion from you, you know, post-fight. What does this fight in particular mean to you?
This fight was my biggest win of my career, of my life. My last two performances, a lot of media were writing me off, saying I was a hype job, this and that. They're, you know, talking very negative about me. So that, on top of winning a unification fight against another undefeated champion, is just, it's as big as it gets, and that's why I was so emotional after the fight.
All right, guys, ladies and gentlemen, round of applause. Great performance.